Hey everybody, Martyn Flick and Feathers again today, and I'm tying the TNS Nymph. This is a fly that came out in the UK, I reckon probably the mid 1990s, maybe a wee bit earlier. It's a very effective still water pattern for some reason, and it also works in the rivers. As always, I'll put a materials list in the description, along with a link to the Patreon page for anyone that wants to support the channel, get access to the members only content and be entered into the giveaways. Also, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button so you get notified of the new videos. So my hooks and my vise, it's a size 12 Kamasan B175. You can tie it on a longer shank hook if you like, right? Not a deep water nymph or something would be no bad, but tie it, I would say 10s to 16s, right? For the still waters, you're probably primarily looking at 10s and 12s. The 14s and 16s would be more suitable for the rivers. And I've got a 2.8mm copper bead. It's just a brass bead, but if you're tying them for the rivers, obviously you can add you can use a tungsten, a copper coloured tungsten bead, or even a different colour if you wish, to get it done a wee bit quicker. I'm just using black Uni 8/0 as the thread. Now I've put on a bed here and I'm tying my tail in, which is Globrite number 11, or you could use Antron, that's chartreuse Antron, and I've just wound that forward halfway up the shank, right, that's my underbody, or the base. Now the rear section, or the abdomen, I suppose it is copper wire. I'm using medium copper wire. This is a UTC. The brand isn't that important, obviously, and obviously you can change, you can use like the coloured copper wires. Mine's better. Now I'm going to tie this in so that the waist piece is slightly short of my abdomen length. So maybe I've got my waist piece just in front of like the end of it, just in front of the point of the hook, and it's on my side. The reason being, I want my last turn of wire till I've left the end sort of exposed, so hopefully you can see it. So the waist piece or the butt end is tied in to here, and my last turn of wire is going to sit right in front of it. Right, it just, I think, gives a smoother transition, and also kind of helps you mark your body length as well, I suppose. So I'm just smoothing all that out with the thread, so I've now got a wee kind of like a smooth bump. Tail, you can trim the tail then, or you can wait to the end. I'll just trim it just behind the back of the hook. You can make it longer if you want. Now, wire bodies, some people struggle with wire bodies, and actually they're dead easy, right? Make a smooth base first, and then see your first turn, take it and give the wire a wee pull just to sort of put a slight stretch in it. It really sets it in place, that locks that first turn, and then as we go forward, I'm going to angle the wire slightly to the rear, right, so that each turn is pulling against the one before, right, and I'll pull the wire each time, right, making it nice and tight. But now obviously if you angle back too far, you're going to get that and the wire's going to come across itself. So it's just enough that it's being forced forward by the wire ahead of it. And you always get a nice even spaceless body, right? There's no gaps here. And then when I get to that last turn, I'm going to just got to come down, and I get that nice wee smooth transition, come across my thread and tie that off. I'll tie forward a little bit and then bend and break the wire. Now you can see there, hopefully, there's a slight, it just gives you like a kind of very gradual slope. It's not even really a step. It was going to be covered anyway, but it makes the covering easier. So I need to leave almost a bead length clear. Right, you need like a head length enough for a hackle. But I'm going to add some dubbing just to smooth out this, where the bead's going to rest against it, rather than let me try to press against that wire. So using Hare's ear, you can use anything, any squirrely or kind of like natural fur in that sort of greyish, tanny grey Hare's ear colour. And you can actually use a surprising amount of dubbing here. I'm going to come back over the first couple of turns of the copper wire and build this up. Now have a check. I'm going to see, I can probably squeeze a bit more in here without pushing that bead forward too much. That's not bad. Let me always check it, right, because it can be very easy to rush the head. Now I've got enough space there, so I'm going to throw a whip finish on. 3 turns just by hand's plenty. Right. Now, just for a bit of extra durability, I like to put a spot of varnish in behind that bead there. You can even varnish the copper wire if you like. It's up to yourself really. You could do all the copper and let it dry, but that thin cement will just penetrate in there. And then I'll start my thread again in front of the bead this time, and I'll wind back against it. You can actually usually push it back a wee bit more with your offhand than you can with the thread. You know, you've got a bit more strength, and then lock it in. And that's solid. Right, now the last thing to do is tie in the hackle, and I'm just going to use Grizzle hen. You can use a cock hackle if you like, but I'd say go for one that's sort of lower in quality. You know, like a sort of henny cock, something soft with a bit of movement. Strip away the stuff at the bottom, and then just make sure I've got enough. You need a couple of turns, depending on I mean, obviously it depends on the quality of the hackle, but you need a reasonable amount, and you want a reasonable amount. Fold it back. Keep your thread tight. You can just creak that tip away, and then wind the hackle hard against the bead. You can fold it as you go. That's enough. Cross the thread, tie it off, and then fold everything back again. Snap away that hackle stem. And I'll just whip finish it. Knock the twist out of the hackle. Just stroke it forward. I'll take any twists out of it. See how you're sitting, which is, in this case it looks good. And then a wee bit of varnish on the head. We'll get a couple of coats and the fly's done. So there you go, the T&S Nymph. It is a fish catcher. To be honest, I didn't really like the look of it the first time I saw it, but I was at a club outing and one of my mates was using it, and he was the only guy catching fish. It was crazy. And since then, you know, that I thought, oh, well, I tied some in my box, and I've been using them for all the years since, and with good effect. Also, I mean, don't just think of it as a trout fly. Like, if you fish for, I mean, if you're a warm water fly fisherman, fishing for panfish, this is a good option. As I say, in the rivers, grayling like these, you can put a pink tail on them, a blue tail, a red tail, up to you. Good little pattern. So I hope that was useful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up below and subscribe to the channel. Tight lines, guys. Bye.